Hi, good afternoon. This is video log entry 182, and it's about. Did I say good afternoon? Yeah, I think yeah, it's about 12:30 p.m. CST. So sorry, my attention's been scattered recently. I wouldn't say recently. I've just been thinking about a lot of things and whatnot. So, sort of, and I've been busy with my new job as a line cook for the cafe I mentioned last video. So that has been occupying my mind somewhat, and it's an okay job. I mean, like I get really anxious with the first couple of weeks, and it's been about 2 weeks since I've had the job. But I'm also working part time, so I'm not getting many hours, and he's allowing me to work during the weekdays to kind of learn the ropes while um, it's slow and whatnot. So I mean, usually weekdays are slower. Um, you have your lunch rushes, of course, and sometimes there are morning rushes and whatnot right before work for people. So you get that a lot. So, but I think I learned quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, I think I learned like probably three quarters of the sandwiches. I learned about half of the breakfast menu items, and I mean, the menu is also pretty big too. So, and then there were miscellaneous things, and I learned about three quarters. Well, I would say half for miscellaneous and whatnot. So I've learned quite a bit. Um, so that's good. For the most part, I mean, like I get anxious still. Again, like I think most people get anxious for their first couple of weeks at a new job, especially if you're inexperienced at it. I think people who obviously are more confident when it comes to their own capabilities for certain things that they've done before, obviously they're not going to feel as anxious because they already kind of understand the general overlay of a given job and whatnot, and all they would have to do is just to remember like menu items. But for me, I've had food service experience, but it was for fast food, and the one I think it was all basically fast food. I never had to work for. This is closer to a restaurant setting, so it's um, a little bit more complicated, and the menu items are more intricate. Even though we don't have any stovetops, so we're using microwaves and ovens, convection ovens. So it works out. The space is really small. Usually, you have two people working. Sometimes you have three. The only reason we had three is because I had to come in for a couple of days for training, and they didn't expect me. Well, I mean, the store owner knew, but he already had them scheduled because it's 2 weeks in advance, obviously. So yeah, that was only for the first week, of course. But yeah, so I mean, it's an okay job. It's an okay job, and that's only for the weekends. And yeah, I guess I'm starting my other job in on April 3rd, and I've been looking at colleges still. I'm probably going to do long distance, or I may do hybrid, depending on what kind of hybrid options there are. I think there are a few for the universities that I have. I've been procrastinating on that. And I guess I've been playing games every once in a while, and I played some Hogwarts Legacy. I got like 10 hours in, almost 10 hours in so far. It's not too bad of a game. I think you could probably squeeze out 40 hours if you're I don't know, like the average person I think is 40 to 60 hours. So I mean, it kind of depends on how fast you are at playing video games. I think I'll probably be in the 50-hour mark because I don't know, like it's partially like muscle memory, and I also don't use a controller too often, so my fingers are kind of doing silly things. And it's a fun game, and I have it on normal mode, so it's kind of fun. And yeah, so I don't know, like I have quite a few things on my plate as usual, so starting to warm up, so more people are it's and there's spring break for the public schools, and so it's busy at work when I'm there, and um, uh, I just have a lot of things, adulting things that I'm doing, and I don't know. I think it's a lot more for what my brain is accustomed to, but it's good to introduce it to new stimuli every once in a while, as long as you're not frying it. I just know that it's going to take me a while to get used to my new job because I'm typically, well, again, I was kind of a recluse for the winter, and my brain is still trying to figure out how to process or filter those noises, like especially with the steamers running in the background all the time. There's constant chatter. The ovens and microwaves are always running. There's just a lot of noise for my brain, so it gets pretty tired and lethargic within like a couple of hours, and it's hard to focus on the receipts and whatnot. And I think my manager realized, or the store owner, if you want to call it, he realized that, so he's been making me work like 3 or 4 hour shifts, because then that's where my brain starts fatiguing because of, again, it's all the goddamn noise and the stimuli. Um, but yeah, I mean, like it's not like I'm not learning anything. It's just like it's just taking a second for my stupid brain to properly compartmentalize those noises. Um, yeah, so whatever. Yeah, so aside from that, um, I'm looking at other job positions because I don't want to look at the lakefront. I really don't want to work for the lakefront again, but if I have to, I will. The manager's nice, so he does accommodate for the weekdays, even though you're supposed to work weekends. But I've worked as a seasonal worker, so he's given me a little bit more leeway as a returning seasonal worker. So that's nice of him. But I'd prefer to find a different job for the weekdays, and I'm still looking for that. And I think there's an interview I guess I should go to on the 31st for an event assistant position for the Chicago Park Districts again. So I think I'll go down there. It's like an hour and 35 minutes through public transit. I honestly may just use Uber, although that's pretty expensive, but it's 30 minutes as opposed to an hour and 35. I may just use the buses probably. I don't know yet. I mean, Uber's like what, $20 for transit. I don't know how long that is. I would have to check the numbers, but I think it's fairly expensive being 30-minute drive down there. Last time I think I did a 30-minute drive. I think they do it by distance and not by time. This is using the freeways, so obviously it's going to be a lot faster. But I remember last time I had a 30-minute drive, it was about $20 one way, so it's like $40 in total. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so I have that on Monday, so I have to talk to my store manager about that, or store owner. I keep calling him manager, whatever. It's kind of this. He is the manager and the owner of the store, pretty much. So, yeah, I don't know. Everybody's nice at the new job that I have. I just, again, I'm just like an extremely anxious person. It tends to impede on my progress at times, and I could be learning a lot faster, but I tend to ruminate way too much, and I tend to have, I don't know, like maybe I have an attention deficit disorder of some sorts, and I don't know, like it's just like my brain just gets really anxious, and it's just, I think it's mainly just a noise, and it also being a new job and not being something I've never ever really had before, so all of it's completely new to me. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's fine. I think it's just like the initial hump, the curve for me, because I have no initial experience with being a line cook. It's a little bit steeper in comparison to somebody that has been doing that for a few years or has been in the service industry for a while. So that's fine. And again, like I said, I'm fine with trying out new things, even though it's a little bit more stress-inducing than in comparison to what I'm used to and whatnot. But I think it's going to be something I wouldn't mind doing for at least a few months. And it's also incentivizing me to cook more often at home. I was thinking about making a linguine chicken tetrazzini, or maybe a chicken marsala or something. It's an Italian dish. This is a Greek I think it's a Greek cafe or restaurant. It's all Mediterranean-inspired dishes, and the dishes aren't even that intricate. It's not even like, they're not that bad. It's just that they're many's fairly expensive, and also on busy days, that's when I get more anxious because I'm still kind of getting accustomed to the ropes, so I can't really be as fast as the other people that have been there for. One guy's been there for like 20 years, and there was like a 24-year-old that has been working there for probably a couple of years, and then there was like a college or master's student that was there for like a year and a half, and they're thinking about hiring somebody new like me again. And there was also another guy that was there for probably, like, he started in the fall, so what is that? I think started in October. I can't do the math right now. It was like 7 months or something. So he was there, but he also had 10 years of food service experience. And yeah, so I feel a little bit incompetent, especially with my knife skills and whatnot. And yeah, I think after like maybe like by next week, I'll be a lot more comfortable since I already have some familiarity with the menu, and I've done some prepping stuff. I just had to work on my knife skills and being faster. Essentially, it's just me being faster and learning how to streamline everything a lot more effectively. Yeah, so I did say I wanted a job that enhanced my working memory, at least use my working memory more in comparison to what I'm accustomed to, and that's one thing. And I've already been in a flow state a couple of times, and I think I'll be. There were only a few times I was in flow states because I was familiar with some of the items that the receipt showed, so I could have, like, I knew how to do that quickly because I've done it a couple of times and they were simple dishes. And yeah, so I mean, I think I'll be entering flow states more by next week, hopefully, just because I'll be through repetition or spaced repetition. It's going to be a lot easier, and also muscle memory for where everything is located. Honestly, there are a lot of kitchens out there that don't necessarily have the most logical locations for items and whatnot, and it's just how they do it because they've been doing it for like there was one guy named Chucho who's been doing this for like 20 years, so he just keeps it as it is and he never changes it because he has everything under, like it's through muscle memory, so he knows where to go and exactly where to go for them. He probably doesn't even have to look half the time because it's already there. So yeah, and he yelled at me a couple of times for misplacing certain things and not the exact location of where it was before. And he's a good guy, but he's kind of tough on me, which is fair because my brain freezes sometimes, and I don't know. I think it's just the stressors, and my brain's like it's the stressors through the noises, and the noises tend to magnify my anxieties a lot. And any background noises tend to fuck up with my head, so I think I'm like my mental faculties are kind of taken from that and and just constant rumination and anxiety and whatnot. So it's just like it's kind of hard to focus. Again, like that happened to my other job when I was working for the parks, and I think I was mainly concerned about like parallel parking because I'd never had to do that before, and that was always that would always just like run in the back of my mind. It was like, oh my god, I'm gonna hit a car or whatever it is, like in that. And there were a lot of tight spaces that I didn't really know how to do, and I got comfortable with some of that, but I didn't have to do any parallel parking because usually when I had my coworker doing that, and just like a lot of like just very minor things that my brain tends to get very concerned about for absolutely no reason. And it's happening again now, and obviously that dampened after a while, so I know it's not going to last for too long. Hopefully by 1 month I won't be as neurotic as I am now, because I've been just drained from being over there, and then like the days I actually have to work, I just can't stop thinking about it. It's like, oh god, it's like, what if catastrophizing certain situations, like what if I'm not fast enough, what if I make a silly mistake, what if I fuck up on an order and this order doesn't like me and he's gonna find somebody else, or what if the guy that's newer than me or like a week behind me ends up being better. It's like stupid things. And yeah, it's just like a lot of just incessant worrying. And the store owner's nice. Like he's a good guy. I don't think he's just gonna fire me out of the sponsor if I do something like really stupid. And I've been showing progress, so that's all that really matters, is that I've been showing progress and I've been retaining everything that I've been taught. So like I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm a slow learner. In some cases I am, because I think I am. Like I would say I'm kind of clumsy with the knife. I almost cut myself a couple of times, and I did chip my pinky once, but it barely broke the skin, so I bled a little bit. And but most of the time I'm pretty good with the knife, and I know the general pattern of how to cut. It's just I'm not cutting fast enough, and I don't know how to rock it as well. And I'm not great at dicing. I'm not fast at dicing. But that's just through repetition and muscle memory. So it's just like very small things here and there that I'm not necessarily skilled at, because I haven't really been in a kitchen setting, and when I cook at home, obviously I just take my time doing it. I want to be extremely efficient. So yeah, it's an okay job, and I'm learning. So yeah, it's an okay job. We'll see. I think I'll give it another. I like to give things maybe like 1.5 months before I change my mind on something, and then if I decide to do something else for the summer, then I can do that. Especially during the summer when it's so busy, I'm sure you get a lot of people cycling in and out. So if I just keep an eye out for different jobs, which I will be, I will probably transition to something else if I don't like it much. But I think I don't know. It's like I'm not being pessimistic, but I'm being neutral about it and realistic. Honestly, I don't think I'm almost 100% sure that I'm not going to transition to something different, just because everybody's nice and the store owner is good, and they pay me pretty well. And although it's part-time, I can find another job during the weekdays, and it's fine. It's decent, and I know the stressors are going to lessen after a month or so of that job, so I won't be drained from it when I leave work. And actually, most of the time when I leave work, I'm only drained when I'm in the actual place, because my brain is just constantly being anxious, and I have plenty of energy when I'm home, which is annoying. So like the reason why is just being in that environment causes some kind of flight or fight response / freeze. I guess you could call it a freeze response too, because I notice that too, and I just get it. Yeah. Anyway, so it's not like me being drained necessarily from using too many my actual brain. It's just it's just that given environment. And when I get back home, I have plenty of energy, so I do other things. So it should be a good job. And yeah, it'll just take me a little bit of time to get accustomed to it in comparison to the neurotypical human, I guess. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm just looking. The time is 12:30. So I don't know what else to talk about. I was writing my notebook today because I was looking at other things that could combat. Sorry, I can't speak. Combat rumination, and it's just a bunch of random tidbits here and there. Like, I know people probably have heard about the 5 4 3 2 1 method, which is 5 see, 4 hear, 3 touch, 2 smell, and 1 taste. I think that's a good order, right? Because obviously see, you'd be seeing the most, and then 4 would be the next most for the kind of stimuli, and 3 touch, because it just seems logical in that order. So I was also looking at, I do mostly everything here. I use Perplexity to see if there are any other things I could do to combat my constant rumination. And I do mostly everything, honestly. Like, obviously, you can get yourself on meds for anxiety and whatnot, too. And, yeah. So, and then I tend to write lists about, like, why I feel anxious at work. And it's just my perfectionistic attitude as well. I tend to think that I'm not learning fast enough, or I'm not doing good enough. Or it's just like me always, like, thinking that I could do a lot better than what I'm doing at that given time. Constantly, unfortunately, I think even if I did a stellar job and I make one mistake at work and I get back home and I think about that one mistake, and it's just going to amplify that one thing in comparison to all of the other positive things that I did. I think that's pretty normal for the human brain, though. Yeah. So, oh well. Yeah. So, yeah. Again, like, I was looking at colleges and whatnot, and again, like I said, either hybrid or long distance. So I may just do long distance. I know my I would talk to my parents sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, you should do hybrid because you can socialize with people, like, on campus." And I was like, "Yeah, that's probably, that's a decent idea." But I can make friends from work and whatnot, and just being in my neighborhood. But also, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to run into people that have the same interests in that way, unless we go to events and whatnot. It's just, universities tend to make it easier when it comes to socializing and finding the right people, I guess. Usually, I guess it kind of depends on the university you go to and whatnot, too. So, yeah. So, I don't know. So, yeah, there's that. And I need to do that as soon as possible for applying, and it's gonna be fun. I don't sound too ecstatic about it, but whatever. And there are a lot of other things. I kind of want to work on other projects. A lot of stuff. I just have a lot of stuff, and I'm just gonna take it one day at a time, because I tend to get anxious from having too many things to juggle around. Yeah, in comparison to what I usually do, at least. So, yeah. I don't know. Do I have anything else to talk about? No, not really. I guess not. Okay, bye.